engineering feat to the mammoth task of containing Ebola. A doctor in New York City is the latest North American who has tested positive for this virus.
Last week, Craig Spencer returned to the U.S. from Guinea, where he'd been treating Ebola patients. And then yesterday, his fever spiked for the first time, and he was brought to a local hospital for treatment.
One night before he came down with symptoms, he'd been to a bowling alley in Brooklyn, and then he traveled on the subway. And this is leading people to ask, how do you eradicate this virus? Is there a way to stop Ebola in its tracks?
Well, one Canadian company says yes, if their game-changing technology passes the test.
Can be used for triage setups or for decontamination.
Today, this tent is ground zero for a test that could help stop Ebola in its tracks.
I consider what we've come up with to be a breakthrough.
Dr. Michael Shannon and his team have created a new way to exact revenge on all deadly viruses, including Ebola.
This can be used anywhere. It can be used in an aircraft. It can be used in a cruise liner. It can be used in a hotel room.
It's a machine that mixes ozone, a gas often used in water purification, and peroxide, commonly used to clean wounds, and creates a killer vapor.
We discovered that there's actually a new compound that's made. It's the same compound we think that the white cells produce. And it is lethal to all pathogens.
In tests so far, this has killed every virus in its path.
It was kind of an oh my God, and then thought, nah, can't be right. And after about 3 or 4 tries, we said, we might actually have something, now what?
As the doctor ensures his machine is in fighting form in the lab, his technician prepares a virus for it to fight with in the tent.
MRSA is an antibiotic-resistant, drug-resistant bacteria. It causes a lot of hospital-borne infections and is very difficult to treat once a person is infected with it.
If the machine kills this virus, no other stands a chance.
At the top of the list, you actually have bacterial spores, but then moving down from that, you have things like an adenovirus, very difficult to kill. Below that, you would have things like the coronavirus that causes MERS and SARS. And below, way down on the list, you have Ebola. Ebola virus, there are 5 strains of it, and they're all, relatively speaking, easy to kill. Well, okay, so it worked well, test is done, no surprises. Let's take a look now at what happens in a tent.
This unique tent is airtight, perfect as a portable medical tent anywhere in the world.
You can make it virtually airtight, which is what they want for treating any kind of pathogen that's in the air. So we're perfect partners for purifying whatever is inside this tent.
We are proposing that you have a separate series of tents that are actually decontaminated. At least there you're saving lives.
That is if today's test works. The samples make their way, but no hurrying or talking here. One stumble and everyone in this building could get violently ill. Battling the virus in this ring will be the machine's big test. The idea was sparked when Dr. Shannon ran the Canadian Laboratory Centre for Disease Control.
And we were all obsessed with this issue of pathogens and the big tsunami that was going to hit, and what are we going to do about it?
Now, Ebola has arrived, completely devastating some West African communities and taking down victims in other continents too. Ebola's killing spree needs to be stopped now.
No reason why we can't get the same results that we do in here in West Africa.
But what will those results be?
We're always looking at temperature, the timing obviously, the concentration of ozone, and the relative humidity. The target is 80 parts per million ozone. Then we will bring the humidity back up, and that water vapor will have the 1% peroxide in it. As soon as that happens, the treatment phase starts.
The time is up.
Okay, looks like we're done, so let's go and see if it worked.
Both the control and test samples are put on a base to grow overnight.
Well, how do we do?
Well, these plates are from untreated controls. You can see lots of
That's
growth.
heavy, heavy growth.
Heavy growth. And these plates are from treated samples. Nothing on them at all.
You basically have no growth here, so we're looking at about a 99.9999%. You can't say 100%, but it's as close as you can get to 100%, and that's what we're talking about.
The next step? Doctors Without Borders are in talks about possibly taking units to the front lines in West Africa.
My God, this actually might make a difference.